In 1099, an army of 60,000 European soldiers stood outside the walls of Jerusalem. They had walked and ridden and starved and died for 3 years across 3,000 miles of hostile territory to get there. And when they breached those walls, what they did inside became one of the most brutal single events of the entire medieval world. This is the story of the Crusades. How they began with a speech, how they built kingdoms in the desert, how they fell to one man in a single afternoon. This is history that sounds like fiction. The year is 1095. Pope Urban II stands before thousands at the Council of Clermont in France. The Byzantine Empire, last surviving fragment of ancient Rome, has sent an urgent message. The Seljuk Turks are advancing. Jerusalem is in Muslim hands. Urban delivers what may be the most consequential speech in medieval history. God is calling them eastward. Those who die will have their sins forgiven. Jerusalem must be reclaimed. The crowd erupts with one phrase: Deus vult. God wills it. What followed was organized chaos medieval Europe had never attempted. Knights and peasants and priests and criminals seeking pardons began moving east. The first wave, the People's Crusade, was catastrophic. Untrained civilians reached Anatolia and were massacred almost entirely by Turkish forces. But the armies of the great lords were something different, something organized, something deadly. By 1098, they had captured Antioch after a brutal 7-month siege. Jerusalem fell on July 15th, 1099. The chronicles describe what happened inside in terms historians still struggle to contextualize. Blood in the streets, bodies in the temples. A massacre so complete, the victors waded through the dead. But here is what history rarely emphasizes. After the First Crusade, the Crusaders didn't go home. They stayed. They built. 4 Crusader states emerged: the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, the Principality of Antioch, the County of Edessa. European feudal kingdoms planted in the Islamic world, surviving for nearly 200 years. They built Crac des Chevaliers, the greatest Crusader fortress ever constructed. They developed trade networks, absorbed local culture, intermarried with Eastern communities. Some Crusader descendants born in the Holy Land had never seen Europe, and never would. But the Islamic world was gathering. Saladin rose from a Kurdish military family to become Sultan of Egypt and Syria. He understood the Crusader states could only fall if the fractured Islamic world first united. He spent years making that happen. On July 4th, 1187, he lured the Crusader army into a trap near the Horns of Hattin. 20,000 Crusaders marched across waterless terrain in summer heat toward a lake they would never reach. Saladin cut off their water, lit the dry grass around them, and when they were dehydrated and desperate, he destroyed them. The Battle of Hattin lasted 1 afternoon. The entire field army of Jerusalem gone. The true cross captured. 3 months later, Jerusalem fell, without the massacre of 1099. Saladin let civilians leave. He paid ransoms for the poor from his own treasury. The contrast with 1099 was not lost on anyone. The Third Crusade brought Richard the Lionheart to the Holy Land. He won battles, recaptured coastal cities, came within sight of Jerusalem twice. and twice turned back, knowing he could take the city, but not hold it. Richard and Saladin never met in person, but they exchanged letters, sent each other gifts. Two extraordinary men locked in a conflict neither could fully win, treating each other with something their chronicles recorded as admiration. The last Crusader stronghold, Acre, fell on May 18, 1291. The last defenders fought to the last man in a collapsing tower. 200 years of European presence in the Holy Land ended in a single morning. Jerusalem was held for less than 90 years. But the Crusades achieved something nobody planned: the collision of two civilizations that permanently altered trade, science, philosophy, architecture, and the cultural DNA of both worlds. They came for a holy city. They found each other.